Have you ever prayed for peace? And then the moment that it shows up, the moment you finally get peace, you actually feel restless? Here's why.
Elevate with Monique. Elevate. Elevate with Monique. Elevate.
Welcome back to another episode of Gracefully Elevating with Monique. And of course, I am your hostess. Now, the whole month of October, we have literally been diving into my book project, Peace Beyond Your Pain. We started at the beginning and now we are towards the end of the book. And the reason that I really wanted to highlight some of the topics in the book is one, to kind of give you a teaser of what you can expect the book to be about. But then two, I also wanted to share with my community that these topics that we are talking about, they absolutely align with when we think about elevating our personal lives and the things that sometimes we have to address, the things that we sometimes have to be aware of in order to make changes or in some cases surrender or release so that we can then move to new levels. And so I wanted to just highlight the topics of peace beyond your pain. And so for this week, we are talking about why peace can feel so uncomfortable when you are used to pain. Now, this is for the ladies and gentlemen who are used to being in survival mode. And I tell you all the time that this book is not, it was not authored from theory. It wasn't authored from skepticism. These are real life experiences that I myself have gone through. So, survival mode, I know all too well. And the thing about peace is that many times when it shows up, if we are so used to being in a world of chaos, a world of drama, a world of noise around us all the time, peace is going to feel disruptive. It's going to feel like you don't have control. It's also going to be a bit eerie when it comes to the quietness, the silence that comes along with living, operating, and inviting peace into your life. Why do I say that? Well, when you are used to living in survival mode, you always have a plan B. You always have a backup plan. And you never really settle into what's happening for the moment or in the moment because you are focused on making sure that there's a way, making sure that everything is prepared for what's to come, right? You're one step or two steps ahead all the time. But what survival mode does is it makes you forget about the present moment. So you're not tapped into what's happening right in front of you, which means that you're being robbed of the peace that you might be able to lean into if you were to take a moment and pay attention to what's happening in front of you. So, I have a couple of things that I want to share with you, some insights that I want to share with you out of peace beyond your pain, but then also, again, not just theory, but these are real life insights. So, number one is peace can feel foreign when chaos is your normal. I just mentioned that, right? When you are so used to trauma and drama, when you are so used to everything just being so chaotic all the time, there's always drama around you. People are always bringing drama to you. You're watching drama on TV. The music you're listening to is drama filled. You have these triggers around you. It is very, very difficult for you to even absorb anything else that is less chaotic as your normalcy. And so, what you have to do is you have to start identifying the areas of your life that bring the chaos that have been governing your life. And you got to start opening that up because otherwise, you won't even have the capacity to experience peace, like true peace, the kind of peace where it makes you move slow, it makes you lean in a little bit more. It makes you less reactive and more responsive. And so you want to make sure that you are just paying attention to the things that are bringing the chaos and actually eliminating some of those things, a lot of those things that really aren't bringing you value. It'd be one thing if you had chaos and confusion, which I can't even see how this would be in the same space. But it'd be one thing if you had chaos and confusion, but it was making you more productive or it was leading you to something that is going to help you with your end goal, right? That'd be one thing because then you can say there was value in that chaos. But it is a whole nother animal when you are talking about chaos and confusion that doesn't bring value to your life. Okay. Number two is healing isn't about returning to who you were, it's actually about meeting a new version of who you are. And I think that this statement is so profound because when we actually go through healing, a lot of times people think that you are fixing. And I use that word sometimes, but really you're not fixing yourself because what happened happened, right? What you experienced. You can't go back and change it. And we can't cry over spilt milk, right? But the healing that takes place, and when I say the healing, I mean really getting serious, getting honest, getting quiet, getting still, getting curious about the things that perhaps you might need to focus on in order to bring more healing into your life. But that healing is not going to return you to who you were. And if we're being completely honest, I wouldn't want to go back to who I was. I don't want to go back to someone that I used to be. The healing for me actually helped me to start to explore and be introduced into who I am becoming and who I was becoming. Completely new version of you. You've never met that version of you because you've never experienced that level of healing. And I also have to say this because sometimes I think people get it twisted. They think that when we talk about healing, that that's a one and done. Healing can take many, many years. It can take on many different um, uh, personalities in various seasons of your life. So don't think that just because you may have healed one area, that you may not have other things that you need to focus on healing so that you can become a new version of yourself in that regard. Okay. The other thing is you literally cannot rush peace. I mean, you cannot rush it. I remember I lived for a really long time with anxiety. And sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, I still have moments of anxiety that I have to overcome. But when anxiety was controlling my life, there was no peace. There was no peace. And I couldn't rush peace to hurry up and come. I literally had to figure out what the anxiety was all about, the root of that anxiety, start to dig there in order to understand more about why this anxiety was so prevalent in my life, work on some things that were attributing to that anxiety in order for me to then start trusting myself more, trusting God more, listening to myself. And before I knew it, eventually over time, peace just started to become a part of my nature. That wasn't something that I just always had, and I couldn't rush the process. There were things that I needed to do in order to be able to make space and room for peace because chaos and peace cannot live in the same space. It just cannot happen, right? Just like if you have a dark room and light comes in, that room is no longer going to be dark. It's the same thing with peace and chaos. If you have chaos in your life, peace is not even going to be able to live there because there's no room for it, okay? And then the last thing is in the book Peace Beyond Your Pain, I show you how to lean into that discomfort, that level of discomfort. I tell you all the time, I know that this is not glamorous. I get it. That's why I have the sacred space that I have for women to be able to work through these things in community, because it's not glamorous. It's not pretty. In many cases, it does not feel good. But when you are in a space that you can begin to peel back those layers and you can lean into wherever you are in that moment, you understand that I may go through periods of being uncomfortable, but it's temporary, right? Would you rather have a short amount of time amidst your whole entire life and everything that you've gone through, this short amount of time in discomfort in order to lay a new foundation, in order to learn something new or unlearn things that you may have carried for so long, so that you can get to the longer side of having peace in your life? Or would you rather have just many more years of discomfort? You do the math and tell me. But with peace beyond your pain, I teach you how to lean into that discomfort for a while, only for you to be able to move through that space in order to find the things that you are looking for, in order to attract the things that are going to bring more elevation into your life. So if you have not ordered your copy yet, find the pre order book link somewhere here and get yourself a copy. You might be like, well, I don't think that peace beyond your pain is for me because I didn't really experience a whole lot of trauma in my life. But you'd be surprised. Maybe you didn't have extensive trauma like me, but maybe you weren't touched enough in an affectionate, loving, genuine way as a child. Or maybe you had a great childhood, but then you had your heart broken. And so then you started operating a certain way because you didn't want to go back to that place. All kinds of things in our lives can cause trauma. So no one is above having hidden trauma or suppressed trauma. And what is it going to take from you to go through this book and perhaps even learn something new to put into your toolbox to be able to share with someone else, or to be able to pull out in those times that you need it? So find the link somewhere in this video. Listen, if you are new to the channel, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I am relentless and I am passionate about helping women just like you and me who want to experience new levels of personal elevation, but really just don't know how to get started, or really don't know where to focus in order to start bringing in that new level of elevation. If you are a returning guest, I want to say thank you so much for tapping in, tuning in, being a part of the community. I love you so much and I do not take you for granted. And on your way out, do me a favor, go ahead and like this video. If it resonates, go ahead and subscribe, share it with your friends, all the things that come along with helping the algorithm to pick up videos just like this, that is helping women just like you and me so that we can experience new levels of personal elevation. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Elevate with Monique.